So you've got this great idea for an online business, right? You're all fired up, ready to build, ready to create, and finally be your own boss. But what if I told you the single most important decision you'll make happens before you even think about a logo? Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful concept that completely flips the script on how to start a business. It's called the starving crowd principle. All right, let's just get right into it. This is the question that probably keeps a lot of us up at night, doesn't it? You see the numbers, you hear the horror stories. So many businesses just fizzle out. And we usually think we know why. We tell ourselves, oh, I need better ads, or I just need more followers, or maybe I'm just not skilled enough. But what if all of that is completely wrong? Yeah, the real reason businesses fail, it's probably not what you think. It isn't that you need to master some super complex marketing funnel, and it's definitely not because you're not good enough at what you do. Now, that's a huge relief for sure, but it also opens up a new question. If it's not about traffic or skill, then what is the real problem? It all starts right here. We call it the niche selection trap. You know this feeling. It's that endless, super frustrating loop of brainstorming ideas, getting all excited, and then just hitting a brick wall over and over and over again. It's a kind of thing that can just suck all the energy right out of you before you even start. And how do you know if you're stuck in this trap? Well, the symptoms are pretty painful and pretty clear. You spend weeks building a product that nobody buys. You write these amazing emails and they just don't convert. You launch your big offer to the sound of crickets. And honestly, the worst part of it all, you start to think the problem is you. And that feeling of being stuck, that's the heart of it. It's this total paralysis where you're just constantly second-guessing every single idea, absolutely terrified of picking the wrong one and wasting months or maybe even years of your life. Okay, so here's the big twist. If you're feeling any of those symptoms, the diagnosis isn't that you failed personally. It's a strategic mistake. It's not about your abilities. It's about the battlefield you've chosen to fight on. The problem is the market. This comparison really puts it all into perspective. On the left, you've got what we think is wrong. Bad funnels, not enough traffic, a lack of skill. But the real diagnosis over on the right tells a completely different story. The problem isn't a bad funnel, it's a weak market. It's not a lack of traffic, it's a lack of buyer urgency. Your ads aren't the problem, your offers are just getting lost in the noise of a crazy competitive space. So the bottom line is this. Your problem isn't your tactics, it's your targeting. You have a market selection problem. You're trying to sell food to a crowd that simply isn't hungry. And this leads us to the big idea, the core of this entire explainer, the starving crowd principle. Honestly, this might be the key that unlocks everything else. If you get this one concept right, everything gets easier. But if you get it wrong, everything feels like an uphill battle. So what in the world is a starving crowd? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a group of people with a painful, urgent problem. They aren't just kinda, sorta interested in a solution. They are actively, desperately looking for one right now. And here's the most important part. They're already spending money trying to fix it. They are hungry and they're ready to buy. And this just nails the power of finding that crowd. When you have an audience that is truly desperate for what you're offering, you don't need some perfectly polished 27-step marketing funnel. The demand is already there. You'll find that even simple, straightforward offers can work like gangbusters because you're giving people exactly what they're already searching for. But on the flip side of that, the opposite is brutally true. If you're in a market that doesn't have that urgency, a well-fed crowd, let's call them, it doesn't matter how incredible your product is. It doesn't matter how clever your marketing is. It's like trying to sell a giant steak dinner to someone who just walked out of an all-you-can-eat buffet. It is a fight you are almost guaranteed to lose. Okay, so the idea makes sense, right? Find people who are starving. The next logical question is, well, how do I actually find one of these crowds? Good news. It's not about guesswork. It's about following a clear framework to spot that real buyer urgency. This framework is really a whole new way of thinking. First, you identify. You stop brainstorming in a bubble, and you become a detective, looking for clues where people are already spending money. Second, you validate. This is where you ask really sharp questions to figure out if the market is actually profitable. And finally, you score the opportunity with cold, hard logic, using a system to take the emotion out of the decision. And this is the most critical takeaway of the entire process. The whole goal is to find that burning, urgent need before you write a single line of code, before you design a single graphic, before you build anything. It's market first, product second, always. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds like solid advice, but is it really that important? Well, in the market we're in today and where it's headed, this isn't just good advice anymore. It is absolutely essential for survival. Just think about it for a second. AI tools are making it easier than ever for anyone to create content and products. That means more people are launching online businesses than at any other time in history. And the result? Competition is just exploding. In this kind of environment, markets without that strong, urgent demand, those weak niches, they're getting crushed. There's just way too much noise for a lukewarm offer to ever stand a chance. So here's the final point. The future doesn't belong to the entrepreneur with the fanciest AI tool or the most complicated sales funnel. The winners will be the smartest strategists, the people who do the hard work up front to find a hungry, starving crowd, and then simply feed them. So we'll leave you with this one final, powerful question. It's a complete reframing of the entire entrepreneurial journey. For years, we've been taught to start with our passions or our skills, always asking, what can I build? But what if the real path to success starts with a totally different question? What if you started instead by asking, who is starving? That one little shift in perspective, well, that might just be the thing that makes all the difference.